staying tuned with us. Be sure to join in the conversation on all our social media platforms at News Central TV. Now we'll be discussing more on basketball on the local front. The 2025 Women's Basketball League took a dramatic turn as the Atlantic Conference in Benin City was suspended due to unresolved logistical issues, including disputes over chair rentals and unexpected facility charges. The disruption, which left players feeling unsafe and disrespected, forced a halt in proceedings mid-game. The games are now tentatively yet to resume on August 25th during Phase 2. In contrast, the Savannah Conference tipped off smoothly in Abuja with dominant performances. Savannah Conference tipped off in Abuja with dominant displays across the board as 4 teams registered emphatic wins. Air Warriors crushed Ham Warriors 91-24 in a one-sided opener, showcasing defensive grit and fast-paced offense. Nigeria Customs overwhelmed Nasarawa Amazons 83-30, with Nana Khadijat leading all scorers with 17 points. Royal Aces followed suit, dismantling Plateau Rocks 78-49, led by Oyinda Mola Abdulaziz 21-point outburst. Meanwhile, Titans Basketball Club trounced Kada Queens 67-28 behind Esther's 16 points and Chisholm's 11. All 4 victories sent strong signals to conference rivals as title contenders begin to emerge early. The blowout underlined a competitive imbalance and raised early stakes for playoff contention. Joining me now in this conversation is Emmanuel Chibuzo, a basketball analyst based in Abuja. Good afternoon to you, Emmanuel. It's a pleasure to have you in the game today.
Good afternoon, Akolo. Great to be on the show with you this afternoon.
Great. Emmanuel, there's a lot going on at this point in time. It did take a long time for us to get this league started off, right? And then now we're facing issues regarding a lot of things, which I've already mentioned. But why did the Nigerian Basketball Federation fail to prevent such basic logistical failures in Benin? And how can we do better, please?
I'm not sorry to say that we are not ready. We are not prepared. Like I will always say, I always say that if we need to shut down sports for 1 year and get things right across board, we should do it. It's not a must for us to take part in many things. Sometimes the reason why we do all of this is because we just want to be a part of it. Look at the CAF Women's Champions League. As dominant as the Super Falcons have been, we can't even compete at that front. We are yet to even win it. Now, this whole problem with the NBBF started way back. Tijani Umar and Musa Kida, all from an election venue. That has spanned over time. Now we have a different faction, Mark Oguche and Musa Kida. And yet nobody can fix the problems in the NBBF. We don't have a vibrant league. Like you said, it has taken a long while for us to say we want to get started. And now we've started, crisis has erupted, it can't even continue. I think it just shows that we are not ready. It's shameful to say that majority of the sport ministers we've had have always had their flair for football. Now there's no sport minister, the NSC Sport Commission is there. Who is heading the NSC? Former Vice President of the NFL. How well is he versed when it comes to other sports? So I keep saying, Sport Falcons or the D Tigers may stumble their way to winning the Afro Basket 5 times on the bounce to celebrate them to the high heavens. But in terms of preparations to get into where we want to get to, things are not being done the right way. And it's appalling. Like I said, when the whole Musa Kida Tijani Umar faction started, then if a Zenith Bank was sponsoring the basketball league, if you're invited to come and take part in it, one of the factions will write a letter to the club. If you represent there, if you go for that tournament, we will disband you. That was where we are till now, spanning to close to 10 years. We are yet to have a vibrant league, and all of a sudden the league is about to start. I think it's an appalling situation. If the NSC, there's no sport, if it's NSC, so technically, it is safe to say that Shehu Diko is the Minister of Sport, technically because he has a sports commission.
Correct.
If they cannot put our house in order, like I said, let us shut down sports across board for 1 year. If we don't get things right, let us not come out to take part in anything.
Strong statement right there by Emmanuel Chibuzo. But joining in this conversation right now is Gbemidepo Popola. Good afternoon, Gbemidepo. You're welcome to In the Game. Gbemidepo, kindly unmute so that we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon. It's good to be back on the show once again.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to have you. But still sticking with Emmanuel Chibuzo for now. You already mentioned the sponsors of this basketball league, and one would have thought that maybe having a private entity being involved in the league maybe would have curbed some of these issues. But it seems to be that that's not the case. And you're alluding that it's still down to the admin level and it's down to the administrators. What do we need to do in terms of probably changing the mindset of the administrators as to taking basketball more seriously? Sincerely speaking, talking about the reign of the commission, they seem to be having a hand in different federations and trying to make things better. But regarding basketball, Emmanuel Chibuzo, what do you think would be the solution for us to have sustainability and also quality in the leagues for both the men and the women?
Whoever is going to head it, if you're going to stick with this new system of the sport commission, not the sport minister, like I mentioned, the head of the sport commission, who is heading it, Alhaji Shehu Diko, former vice president of the NFF, how well is he versed when it comes to other sports? And sometimes when you hear them analyze, okay, for one, I reached out to the sports commission when they had the meeting for the Under-19 Athletics Championship. I broached the subject of basketball for them. I'm a journalist, I cover all sports. I know there's nothing, but the NBBF don't have a media officer as we speak right now.
Wow.
They don't have a media officer. Musa Kida was in this same war with Tijani Umar because of the election, Chida Hotel, different factions in Kano and Abuja, and here we are. So I think we have to start by having a square peg in a round hole.
Correct.
Who understands the importance? First and foremost, in the last 10 years, basketball is one of the most thriving sports in Nigeria, across board. One of the sports that our athletes are going all out to doing well. So if this sport is doing well for us, how can we fix it and do the right thing? So if we have a square peg in a round hole, we'll still come back and still keep asking the same question. What are we going to do? Right? This question you're asking me, I've been asked this question 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, across different media stations in Nigeria. But it still remains the same. Now, this current board has a certain former Olympian, one of the greatest Nigerian basketball players, Olumide Oyedeji, working in this team. So he has played for, he was drafted by the LA Clippers. He has played for some of the top teams in the NBA. He has well traveled. If he's as a member of the team, of the board, he cannot provide a solution. I think we are just trying to go through the circle because this same question will be asked come next year.
Okay.
The men team will not even have a vibrant basketball league. What they do, at the end of the year, they come for a Super 8 or Super 6, assemble them together. River Supers, as usual, will always win it. To go for the Basketball African League again, and they come back. So they keep trying every time, but if we don't have a square peg in a square hole, we'll keep asking the same question. Like I mentioned, Olumide Oyedeji, one of the most storied athletes when it comes to Nigerian basketball, is a member of this basketball federation. What provision is he given to them for us to solve these problems?
There's always this narrative that whenever Nigeria goes for international basketball competitions that we don't have enough local representation. But I put it to you, how can we have local representation when, you know, the local leagues are not active and it's a bit topsy-turvy? When do you think we'll get to the point whereby we would have good representation of both athletes in diaspora and locally in basketball?
Beautiful question to be asked. But at the same time, I think we have to start from somewhere. The sustainability of the Nigerian Basketball League in the first place. Do we have a league? How functional is the league on home soil? When I talk about indigenous representation of basketball players for Nigeria, you know, outside they want to go for these international competitions. The first question has rightly been asked. Do we have a proper Nigerian basketball males league? Do you have this league where players can come, show what they can do over time, consistently also being brought on play? You know, like my colleague had rightly said earlier, it made strong points regarding that regards, and I wouldn't want to touch on that as well to just avoid repetitions. I think that is where we should start from at this point in time. We can't just jump and say we want to send athletes or basketball players out there. Where do the national team selectors, where do they pick them from? That's the question to be asked. You know, River Supers have done well in the last couple of years as well, but they remain like a principality and power in that zone because they've not gotten better challengers, and this is due to the nature of the league as well, which is lacking a bit of sponsorship, if you ask me, and also a bit of you know, the solid structural backing needed by the government as well to put that in place has also been a problem. They can always get players, outside the shores, players that play outside the country in developed leagues in the US and the Greek league and so on and so forth. And they can also be blended like just what's happening with the national men's team, that's the Super Leagues, and at the women's team as well, as we've seen where they won the WAFCON just a few days ago with both foreign-based players and some players that have played in the local leagues, and also some that currently play in the local league as well, the likes of Isa. So it can happen, and how consistently can it happen depends on how strong our league, that's our basketball league back home is, which is a very key question at this point in time. How can we continue to promote the strength of the league? How do we get, a proper structure for the league? So that's it for me. We can't just continue to assume and we continue to hope and pray. I think all these things should work together once there's a proper structure put in place.
All right, then. I think at this point in time, everyone who loves basketball in Nigeria is just clamoring for consistency, structure, and some sort of steadiness when it comes to the basketball leagues in Nigeria, not just for the men, but for the women as well. And hopefully, this will not become a discussion later in the future. We do hope for a breakthrough when it comes to the Nigerian administration and the Nigerian Basketball Federation and the way they organize the leagues. But still sticking with basketball, but now going on to the national team. Nigeria's The Tigress camp was in high spirits on Tuesday following the arrival of star guard Sarah Ogoke ahead of their crucial quarter-final clash at the 2025 Women's Afrobasket in Ivory Coast. The defending champions began their title defense without Ogoke, but still managed back-to-back victories over Rwanda and Mozambique in the group stage. Ogoke joined the squad on Tuesday evening as preparations intensified for Thursday's quarterfinal encounter. Nigeria is set to face the winner between Angola and Cameroon for a spot in the semi-finals of the competition. Emmanuel Chibuzo, this is to you. Are you satisfied with the performance level of Renawakama's team, judging by their first two wins? And what are your thoughts in terms of us being able to compete and possibly win against either Cameroon or Angola?
Two results in the two games they played. The first game, when they played, what's the name? The first team they played in the tournament, Rwanda. Now, it was more like a repeat of the semi-final from the last 2 years ago when Nigeria won that same game, 79-45. This time around, you were still pegged at 45, talking about Rwanda, but Nigeria scored 92 points in that game. Now, in that first game, they attempted 70 shots and made 35 of those shots. 50% they shot from the field. And also from the two-point line, they shot about 58% from the two-point line. From the three-point line, they struggled. They attempted to the 2 3-pointers and made 7 of those, which is just about 31% of the shot they took. But the game they played 2 days ago on Monday, they struggled big time. Out of the 60 shots they attempted, they made only 20 of them, which was about 33% of the shot they took. From the three-point line, they were shambolic. Attempted 23 three-pointers, and they made only 3 of them, which is about 13 or 19% of the shots they attempted. They also struggled from the free throw line. 30 free throws they attempted, they made only 17 of those, which means something went wrong. Now, we can blame all of this on the fact that they were not shooting well, but we have to also give kudos to the Mozambique team, who also held them to do short, made them, forced them to make wrong shot. 37 attempted shots from the two-point line, they made only 17% of those shots. So they struggled on all fronts, from the three-point line, from the two-point line, from the field, and also from the stripes, the free throw line. And again, Nigeria had 11 assists in that game, compared to the 16 assists these guys made, talking about Mozambique. In the first game, Nigeria had 25 assists in that game, which meant the Mozambicans did not allow us to even share the basketball very well. We had 42 rebounds in that game, which meant we out-rebounded the Mozambicans in that game. But defensively, I know the team is a good team defensively, because they had about, how many blocks? They had about 12 steals in that game, 15 blocks in that game. They blocked the ball more in that encounter. The problem was their turnover rates. They had 17 turnovers in that second game. In the first game, they had about 11 turnovers, which meant turnovers is what we call unforced errors in tennis. You don't protect the basketball very well. You give it away easily. So I think they struggled with their shots in the second game compared to the first game. They shot 50% from the floor from the first game, 52%, 58% 2-point line, 31% from the 3-point line. The other game, it was all shambolic. Like I said, they made so many turnovers.
Sorry to cut you short. Sorry to cut you short because we're hard pressed for time. But what are your thoughts against us performing well at the quarterfinals, either against Cameroon or Angola?
I think first and foremost, they need a leader on the court. Ogoke coming brings a whole lot of that. Saying Ogoke was a part of the team that won the last one. Ezinne Kalu was not a part of that team because of she was absent. Promise Amukamara also was not a part of that team. Saying Ogoke may not litter the start sheet for you, but they need a leader on the court. She's that person. She might not give you 30 minutes on the night, but they need to protect the basketball very well and also avoid too many foul troubles. They get into personal fouls a lot. Mind your shot. If you're not, if the 2 pointers are not short for you, like I always say, the most reliable shot in basketball is the mid-range, the 2 pointers.
True.
You kill by the 3, you die by the 3. So I think they have to cut down on their 3-point usage if you are not sure about it. But defensively, they are good units. Offensively, they have to now be careful and choose their shot selections very well.
Okay, then hopefully Coach Rodan Wakama listens to this because we need the girls to fire on. They've been doing so well for us recently, especially at the Olympics last year. And it just seems to be that it's a woman's world in the world of sports in Nigeria, as the women have been the one putting Nigeria on the map and earning those laurels. Emmanuel Chibuzo, it's always a pleasure talking basketball with you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.